All right, what we're going to be working on today is a little bit of chemical dimensional analysis, chemistry, basic stuff. Probably the problem that you guys are going to see the most is something like 100 grams of H2O has how many molecules? Typical problem. With that being the case, what you're going to see is that, first of all, you can call it molecules or atoms. And in your lectures that you've probably been paying attention in, you've seen that 1 mole of anything has 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd atoms or molecules. That's a known, okay? It's very important that we know that. So that's Avogadro's number, 1 mole of anything, H2O, HO, CO2, whatever, 1 mole of it has that many atoms, Avogadro's number. Then we need to know how much each compound weighs. This compound, H2O, is made of hydrogen and oxygen. And according to the little algebra type stuff here, we know that there are 2 hydrogens, and we know that there's only 1 oxygen. So if it were CO2, there would be 2 oxygens. But in this one, the 2 tells us how many hydrogens. The lack of there being a 1 here tells us there's 1. And then we need to find the atomic weight of each. The atomic weight comes from the periodic table. The atomic mass. The atomic mass of hydrogen is 1. Look at the periodic table, find oxygen. Oxygen is 16. So I know if I have 2 hydrogens at a 1, that means it's got a mass of 2, and the oxygens, 16 for each oxygen, I only have 1, and 16. I add them together, that's 18 grams. So H2O is equal to 1 mole of H2O is equal to 18 grams. Hopefully that made sense. Once we get this part out of the way, this knowledge, then we can go ahead and start figuring out how many grams of H2O, or 100 grams of H2O will have how many molecules. Write down what you're given. 100 grams of H2O. No one likes the choo-choo track, but go ahead and use it. Words drop down. Grams of H2O. The idea here is to make these cancel out. I want grams of H2O to cancel out grams of H2O. All right. I've already established a relationship between grams and moles. I need to talk to moles of H2O. Now, do I want my answers to be moles of H2O? Of course not. I want it to be atoms or molecules, so I change that. So the way I change it is whatever was up here just comes down. On all these steps, unless you're in the unit that you want, just bring it down and that'll cancel it out. So there's no thinking involved. The only real thinking step is this one. So let's start thinking again. Moles. I'm coming out of moles. What would I want? I wouldn't want grams. I've already been to grams. I want to go to, atoms. That's really what the question's looking for. So I go, okay, atoms. And I would be done. I don't really need to continue the train anymore because the answer that I want to have is in atoms, and I'm done with atoms. And so all these units have canceled out, and I'm stuck with atoms. Now, I need to make true statements out of these. How many moles in grams? Well, I know from this math right here that 1 mole of H2O has 18 grams. It would never be the other way around. It would never be 18 moles have 1 gram. Now, I'm not saying that sometimes 1 mole and 18 grams can't be flip-flopped. Sometimes the 18 grams may be on top. Sometimes the 1 mole may be on the bottom. But the relationship between moles to grams will always be 1 to 18 when I'm talking about water. Now, I've also established that 1 mole has 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd atoms. That's true. That part's true. That part's true. All right, that's how this dimensional analysis thing works. I multiply along the top, and I get 6.022 times 10 to the 25. 18 times 1 is 18. Notice it's 25 because of the 100. If you don't understand exponential numbers, watch a video on it or come ask me or whatever, but all it is you're just typing in that number, hitting your exponent button, and typing in 25. It just means 6 with 25 zeros behind it, right here. Let's go ahead and divide. When we divide those two numbers, we get 3.345 times 10 to the 24th atoms. So that is the answer to our original question. You know, it's real simple, and with practice, just follow the rules. You should be able to get this. And if you have any questions, come by or just tweet me.